It's dark and there's barely light, but the YouTube needs a little bit raw, a little bit more long form content of this fucking thing I'm talking about. When you cannot solve problems, it is because you are using the wrong equation and you are using variables with equations that have not been proven. The reason I succeeded in physics and the reason why I've continued to have success in different avenues of my life have been because I understand that you need to use universal equations to find the fucking product. Number one, you must set out what you want. That means you put an equal sign, and at the end, the product is what you want. Awesome. Now, this is what I want you to do to figure it the fuck out. If you didn't understand physics in high school, maybe watch a couple videos. But you do these labs and you learn these equations and you do these practice problems. But the practice problems, if you know math, you can figure it out. But it's the labs, brother. Do you not remember they had us drop a ball and time it? We did it with our hands, and then we used the laser light sensor that is exactly accurate. Through testing using different balls, different weights, or not weights, but yes, weights, using different masses. Oh my God. All right, that's just a technicality, fucking, right? I think that's symbolic of the fucking freeze I was going through, but it also proves the point that I'm saying. You learn that these, like force, for example, equals mass times acceleration. Acceleration of gravity has been exactly determined through vigorous testing, and it's completely held up. So it is scientifically proven, right? Scientifically, right? Through the process, which is scientifically, that's what it means. Proven. So it is a reliable value to use for the variable or against to figure out the variable. Independent, dependent, what is changing? The whole point is, yes, I'm well versed and I understand this stuff, but not well enough to dissect it in the most mathematically term possible, and you probably can't fucking understand that either. Which is okay, because the point of what I'm trying to say is there are, for example, let's say it's girls, and you're like, I don't talk to girls, I get nervous, they don't like me, whatever, right? Let's say you say hi to them, whatever, they hit you with an objection. Well, in your head, you value yourself down here and you believe these things of yourself. So the way her response is validating that, and your brain is like short-circuiting electricity faulting to something that it views as true. That's mass. That's force. Not mass. That's force, right? But force has been scientifically proven to be mass times acceleration. So in order to figure out force, you have mass times acceleration. Can you figure out the mass? Yes. Can you figure out the acceleration? Well, what if the acceleration is gravity? Yes. Oh, awesome. You could calculate the value. But when you're using, let's say you use mass equals force times velocity, you'll get varyingly different answers. One of them's right and one of them's wrong and will always be wrong, no matter what value you assign it, because you are using the wrong equation. You are using the wrong principles that you deem to be true. You are dying at your fault lines. And I think a period of your life where you are stripped of everything is actually good for a motherfucker. Because when you're stripped of everything down to your bare fucking bones, down to your fault lines, you learn a thing or two about yourself. Those values can become accounted for. And I say that because as being someone who has brought myself into a realm of completely shredded, physically attractive, financially secure, entrepreneur, girlfriend, relationships, stripped from me, one by one by one by one by one by one by one, until I was left with nothing but the one lever, the gym, which got me there. That's why when motherfuckers say, you take all my money away from me and I'll get it back, actually has some fucking weight. Because if you put my physique back to square one and you gave me the gym, I bet you damn fucking well I'll get this shit back. Because if you could do something once, you can do it again. And that's why it is so important to take risks and figure out a calculation of success for yourself. Sometimes you fail through the process. Sometimes you fail because the value that you assigned success to at the end of your equation wasn't actually success. For example, when I competed in bodybuilding after I broke up with my girlfriend. Long-term girlfriend. I had no money for the show. Never did a bodybuilding show before. Barely even believed that was a possibility. But through a couple of things that I did, I learned another side thing. I went to New York for the first time, and that, again, I had to happen in a certain state of mind, and okay. So I went to New York, and I was like, well, okay, so I wanted to make videos on YouTube. I'm like, all right, I want to make challenge videos, I want to make cool stuff, I want to be entertaining, because it genuinely fucking made me happy. So I remember I'd made a couple videos, like I went to climb a mountain in the winter, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a wheel, and I'm gonna get some, like, the things that I could bring on the hike, and I'm gonna bring them on the hike and do it. I never posted a video, but I did it, right? And then I was like, all right, then I went to, the first one was the Prudential Center. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the Prudential Center because I was driving my friend down, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna flip a coin. And the whole point of the video is that I came all the way down here, and that if I flip this coin and it lands on heads, I'm gonna go to the top. And I actually flipped it and it landed on tails, but I wasn't about to, that's not a video, so I redid it again so it landed on heads and got super hype. And it was basically like it landed on heads. And I went to the top of the building, and it's just like this big experience. Like, had a talk at the end. It's just a big experience. And honestly, like where I'm at now, I would love to go back and edit that footage, just because I genuinely was onto something. Genuinely was fucking onto something, and it's some golden content I've sat on. But I think it's time I release that, especially with what I'm doing now. So that's added to the fucking things I can do. But I have options. But moral of the story is, okay, I ended up, all of that and making experiences happening made my belief happen so much that I could actually make something happen if I set my mind to it. So I decided I'm gonna do a bodybuilding show. And when I was doing the bodybuilding show, I applied to like this job at WAP, and you had to record a video, and I was talking about how much I believe in myself and how much I think I'm worthy. And what happened is I was leaving, but I was going out with her, but I didn't want to. I wanted to stay focused. I wanted to keep doing this. And I thought, from the interviewer's perspective, if I knew that about me, that I'm going to make a video like this, say all this stuff, and no, I was all talk, and I was all bark and no bite. And after I turned the video off, I went and did something I didn't want to do. Instead of being grounded enough to say I don't want to and communicate, then I wouldn't hire that person. The fact that I knew that I wouldn't hire myself pissed me the fuck off. Enough so to make a fucking decision. And I did. And I went through that entire prep after having a girlfriend for whatever, right? So it was already a change. And I remember I had so much time, I'm like, all I remember, Alex Schwarm was, all you could do is the inputs that are going to bring you to where you want. So I'm like, okay, my input is making videos. Make videos. During that time, it was the most successful I was on TikTok Shop. What I did, I used that success from the money that I got, and I LARPed it. I won't say LARPed it, but I put it all into a bodybuilding show and accountants that I never used. And right? At the end of the day, all the money was gone. But I did the show, and I competed on the stage, and it was at the Jay Cutler show, and I thought it was so cool because I made the money selling L-carnitine, so it was kind of like a full circle, and I got there, right? And that was the end. That was what I calculated success at. And then it was the next day. Yet I wasn't, that wasn't success. That was just, I set out for it to happen, and it happened. I had to go back. What happened, through Anyone who's ever done a natural prep before, good luck recovering that fucking testosterone level after. Everyone knows. Everyone who's ever done their first show, you starve yourself and bring yourself to that state for that long, you rebound very fucking hard. Unless you are aware of that before. I was not aware. I was not aware of the post-show rebound until the absolute dog days of my fucking diet, where I was eating chicken breast, egg whites, and green beans. That's it all day. And I was using nicotine because I couldn't eat, or all I wanted to do was eat, and I could literally taste food by smelling it. That's when I understood that you're supposed to continue a diet for like weeks to almost up to it before you can even have a taste of food. No. You go cookies, everything you've ever wanted. And it doesn't stop. And it doesn't stop. And it doesn't stop. All the way until you completely ruin the fucking physique you worked so hard for. Then I shaved my head because I didn't know what was wrong. Then it got worse. Then I had no money because I stopped doing TikTok shop. Then I ended up in the Amazon warehouse. 90 fucking degrees out. Eating fucking chicken in my car. Fat. Bald. No money. No girlfriend. And all I had was the gym. And I would make videos like this, and it wasn't the same. Why? Because I wasn't operating from the right fucking headspace. How could I provide any value when I'm struggling so fucking hard? I can't even deal with my own shit. What makes you think I could tell someone else to deal with their own shit? But I ain't understand. Through a process, slow grind, same daily actions every day that fucking brought me to where I was before. I've finally tasted that feeling again. Being back. And since I've made the fire, one spark, it's like that scene in, I don't know, it's that one fucking scene from Castaway or whatever the fuck, where he makes fire, he's like, I made fire. Bro, once you make fire, your job is to make it keep going. Not to fucking light more fire by doing the same thing. I lit the fire. Now my job is to fucking kindle it and make it bigger and make it burn. And continue to burn. Before I let it burn too hot and I ran out of fucking fuel. Not letting that shit happen again. And if it does, it's going to happen for a different reason. One that I must figure out. But going through that struggle and only having those levers, you understand what it is that makes that value of success. It's like you look back, and if I tasted it though, during that time period I tasted it. So if I can recreate that but not be so emotionally tied to the outcome, I might be able to keep this fire burn a little bit longer. I might be able to get through more layers. I might be able to break through. Now, I'm not saying I'll be forever fucking happy, because it comes and goes. But what I'll say is that value of success that I created that didn't work out, when I went back, we're in the test. Is this equation gonna stick? And I think it will, if I don't give up. And I continue to believe, and I continue to have faith. It's not hard. Not when it flows through the right way. I hope in my journey that I learn to make this fire and spread it to other people and teach them how to make it for themselves. And I feel like everything in my life is calling me to practice that exact skill. Work on it. And it's going to be hard. But it's because it's new. But I can do it if I don't give up. I'm going to be challenged. I looked myself in the mirror 2 days ago. Bring it the fuck on. I have not seen that look on my face in a very long time. So bring it the fuck on. Make it harder. I'm ready. Do it. whatever I need to go through. Bring it the fuck on. And even repeating it. That's why I'm going to get this shit done. That's why I'm not going to fucking give up. Because if I don't have this, I crash and burn every single fucking time. And the level of consciousness I am at, nothing is worse than living the life that they want you to. Nothing is worse than being stuck in a job, stuck in a relationship, stuck where you're at, stuck eating this shitty food, low hormones, no drive, insecure, shame, guilt. You're not worthy. Nothing is worse than that. And I would rather die fighting to learn how to channel this than live that way and just accept it. Because I've been that person before. And what hurts even more is when you work your way out of it and go right back. What do you mean I work so fucking hard just to come back to the same place I fought so fucking hard to leave? But it needs to happen. It's the circle of life. That is life. Have you watched the Rick and Morty episode? I don't know which one it is, but they go to the tree of life. And yeah, it's some big stupid thing, but what happens? They start as the single cell, and they evolve in a bunch of different ways. And guess what? The first way that they evolved wasn't the way. And they keep doing it, and it keeps being not the way, not the way, not the way, not the way. But then they found the way. Sustaining it for themselves. They make it so easy to access because the entire system is built up upon you relying on it. If you don't rely on these things to exist, it all falls apart. And I don't even feel comfortable saying this or including it in the video. Because I feel like it makes too much sense the way I just explained it. It's a talk like that why I believe I could sell one-on-one mentorship. And why I believe there's value in it. Because this is not fucking something I'm willing to say push out to the general fucking public. It's a waste of fucking breath. And it makes too much sense. And with the mass surveillance, even the recording of this video makes any move to try and spread this to people through a channel like this idiotic. So don't worry. The voice capturing thing that's transcribing this and putting it into a list of data to then end up on someone's desk or an AI agent's desk. Have no fear. Because I know the game that I'm playing. And there's a line I'm not going to fucking cross. You got my fucking word. I'm well aware of the consequence.